I think that there is room for Cade Cunningham to do a Trae Young-esque star turn by being focused. I mean, by being the guy on this stage, right? Now, look, I want to be very clear about something because I need you to know what kind of dude I am. I don't think Trae Young is anything like Cade Cunningham. Like, I think Cade Cunningham is a much better player than Trae Young is.
Yes.
So I'm not saying they're the same dude, but Trae Young is a great villain. I don't know if Cunningham is that villain, but seeing Trae Young be the villain in that building changed a lot about the way that we looked at Trae Young. And that could happen with putting Cade Cunningham in Madison Square Garden. Because, I ain't going about it like Shaq did, but I think a lot of people are unfamiliar with what the Detroit Pistons have been doing. And I think it'll be very interesting for people to see that.
Yeah, I mean, look, I am here in Detroit. Like, it is the team that is in my area, so I see them a lot more than most national media. I grant you that. Cade Cunningham is not the Trae Young villain. He's not the dude that fans are going to be spitting at, right?
No.
He ain't Reggie Miller. He's better. You know, like Reggie Miller kind of played up to Madison Square Garden, and so the legend became better than the actual numbers. That's no shade to Reggie Miller, but the legend of Reggie Miller was made in 1994, 1995, 1998, and 2000, I believe. Like, that's where the legend of Reggie Miller was made because of all the confrontations with the New York Knicks, which obscured the All-Star appearances, the All-NBAs, or lack thereof. Cade's the All-NBA dude in what's practically year 3 for him. Like, there was his rookie year. He missed his second year with surgery. Only played 12 games. Last year was the disaster. And this year was like Beanie Siegel's first album. Remember Beanie's first album when he was like the first dude on Rockefeller that kind of broke off? It was like, oh, this dude is hungry. Cade Cunningham was hungry this year. And I think the Isaiah Stewart and Karl Towns matchup, Bo, will be near and dear to your heart whenever he's out there.
I would tell you this. And you and I have talked about this. He didn't quite keep it up from where he started the year, where Towns started the year truly playing MVP caliber basketball.
Yes,
like
he did.
There's, and if you guys know anything about me, he's not my type of hype. That's what we'll say, right? He was undeniably excellent for much of the season. He came back down to earth later as it went. But my belief going into the season was that Karl Anthony Towns is the wrong dude for this town with his temperament and with his style of play.
Right.
And it's actually worked out very well in a sense because I think he's got a roster that really accepts him. Like, he's a great fit for that team, and he is not expected to be that guy the way that he was in the early years with Minnesota. And there's not this like contrast between him and call it Jalen Brunson that there was between him and Anthony Edwards. Like, it doesn't look the same way.
Right.
But he's going to have to be a much tougher player than he had demonstrated himself as being in Minnesota, even with that run they had in the playoffs last year, right? Even with doing a pretty good job guarding Jokic, the way he did it, it ain't going to work here. Like, that type of play is not going to do it. And he is matched up against, let's just say that boy is a go hard. He is a go hard. That is what he's here to do.
Make sure we note this. Isaiah Stewart comes off the bench.
Yeah, but he gonna go hard.
Yes, he is.
Right? Like, that's while he's there. Even if he's not starting, right? Like, they got size. Okay, we're gonna see what Mitchell Robinson, like, what he gives the Knicks, because it's important to have a guy that has some actual size. And Karl's gonna be playing the 4 as much as you possibly can to have him, so stretch the floor and everything else. But the Pistons are gonna be coming at him. And we're going to see what he does as a result. Because now, even within this city, it's going to be more people looking at him than had done so before.
It's a couple things that are intriguing to me. You're right, especially about Karl, because the Pistons played the Knicks on Friday. And that's one of those tricky games where you kind of have something on the line, but you kind of don't. So you're not going to give away the game. You're not going to give away scheme. But Isaiah Stewart guarded Karl Towns for the better part of the fourth quarter. But when I tell you his stat line read like this, 0 points, 1 rebound, and he fouled out. And that man got a standing ovation on his way out because he changed the game. Karl Towns could get nowhere. Like, that man was his shadow. And whenever Karl tried to dribble around, Isaiah Stewart does have quick feet and long arms, so it was going to be problems. And it was problems for that man where Karl was looking to the refs every time down. And that's the thing. The other thing for me that I think is kind of tricky, and this is generally my thing.
Well, hold on, right fast. Let me ask you a quick question before you go to this next thing.
Yep.
And I'll make sure I understand this with my recollection of how this Pistons team is put together.
Yep.
Is Tobias Harris going to be the one that they expect to guard Towns when it's not Isaiah Stewart?
No. Jalen Duren is going to start off on him.
Okay. And so, what, you going to put Tobias Harris on Mitchell Robinson? Because why not?
Because why not?
Okay. That makes sense. Because I was going to say, because if Tobias Harris is given that assignment, Isaiah Stewart may have to play 30 minutes a game in the actual playoffs. That's not. Oh, wait a minute, buddy.
He may have to. Like that.
Okay.
Look, he may have to anyway. Because I don't know if the Knicks are going to go double big at all, or if they're going to do it for long stretches of time. Like, for me, it's two things that stick out in this series, and this is just my playoff basketball thing. You got to have a second guy that can go and get it. Like, Cade Cunningham is going to put up the numbers, and he's going to have the moments. Like, he had two really good games at Madison Square Garden. OG Anunoby and Miles Bridges. I'm going to say Miles Bridges. Mikal Bridges.
Get that straight. Get that straight. Get that
Mikal Bridges. Mikal Bridges. There's a big difference. They had nothing for him, right? But you got to have a second guy. Because sooner or later, they're going to scheme you out of the things that you want to do when you're playing every other day. They don't have a second guy. It's kind of a second guy by committee, but it's all kind of heliocentric around that guy.
What about the $250 million man? He ain't the second guy?
Who?
How much money has Tobias Harris made? In his time in the NBA. What the $273 million?
That's a lot of money.
Holy $273 million.
Yeah, he's good. Hey, he's a great vet. And he has done a great job of making sure that the young guys have space to flourish. I just don't think he's the guy that you're going to ask to give you 25.
He got another $26 million coming next year, which is to say, by the time all is said and done, that man will have made $300 million.
And more coming. I respect.
Sorry. I don't mean to derail you on your own podcast. I just feel like sometimes something happens that the people need to know.
Is that the most surprising? He makes that much?
The only reason it's not is because we talked so much about it along the way.
Yeah.
But if you told somebody who just watched basketball but didn't really pay attention to the more granular aspects that people like us are inclined to look up, like career earnings and stuff like that. Imagine what they think everybody makes if they think that he's made $300 million. And you have to explain, oh, no. That's not what this means. He is simply his own legend at the bank.
Mr. Harris. When he walks in.
Mr. Yeah. And they give him the two-hand handshake where they start with the one and then they come behind it with the other. Right? They coming in this way with the handshake. Feel the love.
Good to see you again.
Yeah, but he's still 6'10" and can shoot. Like, that's what it... If we didn't know how much money he made, we would view him much differently, right? Now, of course, he's also not young. Like, he's got to be 34, 35 at this point.
Yeah.
But he in a lesser sort of way, because Karl can also go down low, but he gives you a similar thing of he's a stretch four, right?
Yeah.
Like a similar sort of thing as you get from him. But you're right. With Duren, they've got a big dude.
Yeah.
Right? They've got one. And that's why I'm curious to see, we asked the question of whether or not they're going to go double big. Can you ask Towns to guard Duren?
That's the question. Especially if Mitchell Robinson, we're not sure exactly, like where he is. Like, he's constantly hurt, constantly getting himself back in shape. And Karl is constantly in foul trouble. right? Which has to annoy the hell out of Tom Thibodeau. Like, here's the thing that I think is going to catch the Pistons also. They're one of the most physical teams in the league, so they have to adjust to playoff officiating, not playoff officiating in the way of, man, we get away with a lot more. Playoff officiating in the way of, man, we a young team, we ain't never been here, and we going to get some calls called against us we not going to understand. Like that sort of playoff officiating. And I'm curious about that. And this last thing, Bo, because I want to know how you feel about this. I think this series is critical for Tom Thibodeau to win. He better win this series.
Yeah. No. Look here. I don't care what your seed is. You get the game 1 and the game 7 at your crib, right? You lose this, it's hot seat next year. And the reason is they've made the moves. I don't know if this is a roster that is good enough to say you should win the East. Right. But it is definitely good enough to say you should win in the first round no matter what happens, which is to say you either should be good enough in the regular season that you get a favorable matchup in the first round, or you should be good enough that if you don't get a favorable matchup in the first round, it's because your guys were hurt and everybody's healthy now and y'all should be able to get it done. Like, no. This is it for, like, I don't know exactly how they feel about Karl Anthony Towns, but they felt like paying him $60 million, which I believe is what you have to do, on the back end of that contract. They feel like they got that guy in Jalen Brunson, right? They got Bridges. The reason they gave up all they gave up for Bridges, it's one of the best contracts that you got in the league. And he's a dude that you want in the capacity that you have him in. Yeah, they think you better get this done. And then they just get, 30 to OG last year, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's the reason why I'm not. Here's the thing. Every team has a guy that you're not sure about. And for me, it's not Carlos Mikal Bridges.
Yeah.
That's the guy that I'm like, I'm wondering if Thibs is going to ask him to be able to do more than he's capable of doing. Like, we know what to expect from Karl. Karl's going to have these games where he hits 6 threes. And then he's going to have the game where he plays the Sheila E. Bongos in the first quarter on somebody and gets 2.5 fouls. And then you're going to say, Karl, why you do that? Karl's going to say, because that's what I do. And that's what Thibodeau has to guard against. I think it's even more critical. You saying hot seat next year. I'm saying hot seat. Nah.
Oh, you don't think that he makes it too? I feel like if you're going to fire your coach for losing in the first round, we start hearing that a lot sooner than right now, right? Like,
that's true.
Case in point, I didn't pay that much attention around what happened with Memphis and Taylor Jenkins, so I don't know so much about that one. But it was not, the timing of Mike Malone getting fired was a surprise. Firing Mike Malone was not a surprise. We've been hearing this all year long, right? Now, we didn't think that Dad was going to say, both of you go to your rooms, which is basically, what Kroenke did when he let go of Booth also. But we knew that it was tight on Malone. I don't feel like we know it's tight on Thibodeau. Like, I feel like we've done a lot of forecasting on the tightness.